Hello, welcome everybody. This is Tara's Detox, and this is my Sunday morning sermon, okay? So I want to talk to my Christians, I want to talk to my spiritualists, I want to talk to my women of strong faith, okay? This message is for you, and this message is very, very important because there is a pattern that is happening over the years. I've been doing this since 2016. And there's a very strong pattern that is very apparent in the work that I'm doing and with the people that I am working with. So I want to talk to my Christians because it's my prayer that when I pray, my prayer is that only the right people find me. I pray that people who prayed for me find me, and that those are the people that contact me. Okay, that is my personal prayer. I even have it written down and I keep it inside my wallet, that only the people who are assigned to me find me, and that I'm protected from the people who are not supposed to know that I even exist. Okay. And that's to make sure that I'm only bringing people in that is in alignment, and that, it takes a lot of confidence. It takes a lot of believing in yourself to put yourself out there and say, hey, I went through this. And then, hey, I discovered this. This worked for me. And then to take on strangers to help them with the same thing. And that comes from a deep place of love and a lot of selflessness. And yes, over the past year, there are some mistakes that I have made publicly. And there's growth that is happening publicly. My whole life has been public since 2016. And anybody who's been with me over the past few years, you've seen when I left, took the kids and left, didn't say nothing, went to Georgia. You've seen all of the different changes and things that happen in my personal life and in my personal growth and development. And this last year, 2023, has been a year of personal development for me. Okay? Because when you're helping a lot of people, you're actually taking on a lot of energies. And as an empath, part of the healing is that you're relieving people of their own demons. So when you relieve people of their own demons, those demons like to go after the person that relieved those people of those demons. And those are things that I had to learn and realize on my journey of helping people. So now I've come to another stage where I am looking at people who have strong faith. So I'm a woman of faith. I was raised in the Christian church. I was raised Baptist by a family who is like preachers and pastors and ministers and speakers. And that's the stock that I come from. But through my own studying history, I decided to expand my faith, to not just hold myself down only in Christianity, but to go a historical route. So I am down with history, and our history is so long and deep. So what I want to bring to light here to my Christians, because now we're in the stage of manifestation, believing in what you want, deciding who you want to be and becoming that, instead of holding yourself in any sort of box, societal box that was created for you to fit in. Because a lot of us just don't fit into these boxes. Okay? Like if you think about the school and you have this clique and that group and whatever in school, just like they emulate in movies. And not everybody's fitting into those boxes. And I don't fit into none of those boxes. And a lot of people who find me, we don't fit into those boxes. So there's another box that we got to talk about right now. And this box is when most of the people who contact me, they tell me specifically that they prayed and then they found me. They prayed and then I popped up on their timeline. And I'm like, okay, this is alignment, because that was my prayer too. That you don't even see me unless you prayed first, and then God allowed us to align. All right? So now that you start the protocol and you're actually doing the detoxing and things get tough, okay, that's the part that I want to talk about. I want to talk about speaks big faith, takes small action. I want to talk about recognizing something within ourselves and we don't know where we're self-sabotaging or where things are going wrong. I'm about to tell you where you may be going wrong, okay? Because if we feel like our faith is so strong, all right? Like I believe in God. God is, because I have faith and believe, and all I got to do is trust and believe. But a lot of you guys want to trust and believe it's going to be easy, okay? A lot of you are like, we're going to make it through. I'm going to do this no matter what. God willing, I will be successful. but you're really like, God willing, it be easy. And you expect it to be easy because you're like, God wanted me to do this. He put me in alignment with this. I prayed and now here it is. But the thing is, some of us are being sharpened. All of us are being sharpened. I am being sharpened by working with you. And the thing is, throughout all of my mistakes, personality flaws, and all of that, I continue to try my best to work on myself, recognize where I went wrong, and I continue to show up to y'all no matter what. No matter what you guys have seen me publicly do or say on this doggone live, over the years that I've been on here. No matter what, I continue to do my best and show up, and I grow publicly. Okay? So because you have faith and you have this purpose and you feel like God has a purpose for you and there's something that you're supposed to do, you got to understand that the enemy comes after you harder. And I know a lot of y'all have heard that before, but there's some things that you don't really recognize inside of the detox and how that is helping you to sharpen you into the person that you actually came here to be. Because a lot of us are off our path. We're working in certain jobs we're not supposed to be in. Okay, that's why a lot of people are going the entrepreneurial right now, because we're recognizing that we're actually not walking in our power. So I want to encourage the Christians to increase your spiritual faith and your spiritual power. Okay, so a lot of you guys get scared and quit. That's what ends up happening. So what happens is you guys feel like you're entering into darkness, and then you start to feel like you're surrounded by something evil. And there's some entity or some darkness, okay? And this is what I want to tell you. I'm going to read this. I wrote this morning when I got up, just so that I don't go off track, okay? So when you feel like you've entered the darkness, that is your own demons releasing from you that occupied your body in the form of microorganisms. That's the material manifestations of spiritual entities that influence your thoughts, your confidence, your willingness to overcome. They interface with your thoughts, making you think that they're your own thoughts. Okay? You know how you can tell their thoughts from your own thoughts? You consciously contemplate your thoughts. Okay? You sit there and you think about your thoughts. Their thoughts pop up unexpected, uninvited, and when you're in a beta brainwave state. Okay, when you're not consciously doing what you're doing. It's like when you're driving and you're going from work to home and you don't even remember the drive because you're in automatic. That's when you're weak enough for it to pop up into your mind. Okay. We spend a certain amount of time of the day in that brain state. And because we spend so much time in that state, that's why it's able to mess with us so much. Okay. So if you have negative thoughts that enter your head, that just pop up in your mind, self-doubting thoughts, thoughts of self-harm. If something says that you should just kill yourself, that's not your thoughts. Okay? If it were you, wouldn't you say, I should just X, Y, and Z? Instead of you should just X, Y, and Z? And that's how you know that is not your thought. That is a negative parasitic entity that is dwelling in your body. Now, some of you who are clairvoyant might even see the entity in its spiritual form as you are loosening it from your body. It will continue to talk to you, to whisper to you negative and hateful things. Okay? And if you start to identify with those things and you've never heard of this type of information, that some of the thoughts that's popping up in your head are not your own, then you will mistakenly think that those are your thoughts. You will think that that is actually you when it is not. Because these microorganisms, they cross that barrier and their thoughts influence our actions, influence our confidence levels. They influence us, how we think. So now is the time for you to separate yourself from those thoughts. Now that you know, separate yourself from that, because that's not you. If the thought says you should just da-da-da-da-da. You ever have an interaction with someone and then in the end you feel like a little, kind of like played a little bit, and you're like, well, something says you should have told her da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's not you. That's not you. That you should have da-da-da-da. That is the thoughts of those negative entities that wants you to be in conflict, in confrontation. That's what that is. That's the thing we got to separate ourselves from, because you consciously contemplate your thoughts. You think about your thoughts. That is when you're sitting there thinking and deciding. That stuff, that negative stuff that just pops up in your head, we got to detach ourselves from it. That's the reason why so many Christians quit the program. The Christians quit the program. They are not making it through. They are actually getting to the same point and then quitting. And that's because you need to increase your personal power. Okay? All of your power is outside of yourself. All of your power is God willing. When you're feeling in the inside, God willing, it will be easy for you because you have faith in God. Because all it said was that you got to just trust and believe. Trust and believe, and that's it. So what I find a lot of you guys doing is slipping on the trifecta of detox success. And that is where a lot of you guys are going wrong, because you are wanting to do things your way. And in you wanting to do things your way instead of following the way that it has been laid out for you, you are putting faith into your own demise in a sense. Because you have to relinquish and release and just let go of your old way of doing and being and thinking. Because your old way, your current way, which will be your old way soon, your current way of thinking, doing, and being has you in the situation that you're in now. And the only way to move into a different situation, the situation that you want to be in, if you just imagine how do you want your life to be, just bullet point it in different areas: career, success, career, love, children, family, or maybe we should just put family, because not everybody wants children right at this time. Some people are choosing not to have children because of the way that the world is. And that's understandable and that's fine. But we need to go in those categories and see, what do we want our lives to look like in those areas? And then we need to do the work to get there. It's going to be hella uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable, because that means that you're going to have to do a whole new routine. A whole new routine. Because your current routine that you do every day, day in, day out, those automatic actions that we do day in, day out, is the reason why we're sitting stuck in this position right here. I call that speaks big faith, takes small action. Okay? In the service industry, we call that the verbal tip. The person who talks, nothing but praise for what you're doing and how you're serving. Praise for how you're serving and what you're doing. And when it comes down to the time for them to take action, small action. Big speaks big faith, takes small action. Are you speaking big faith? God willing, glory be to God. I prayed and he told me that I need to do this, jump in and, and just trust and believe. But you trust and believe it will be easy. God willing, it will be easy. And it's not going to be easy. Okay? It's going to shake something up in you. And for some of you, it may be a little bit scary. Because as these entities start to come out your body, some of you may see them. Some of you may experience them. And that may be scary. That might sound scary, that you might experience or see entities, feel the darkness within your room, within the walls of your home. That's because it started to release itself from your body. It's loosening up. And you know what else? At that same time, you're losing weight. Because the toxins and all that kind of stuff, it mostly stores in the fat. All of that just loosens up. You need to check the toilet. You need to check to see if you see any little worms, little parasites in the toilet. Okay? So if you're seeing stuff, you're hearing stuff, you're having a bombardment of, I done made a word up, oh well, of negative thoughts coming to you, hitting your mind. It seems like people are kind of like trying to start stuff with you a little bit more than usual. It seems like things starting to try to get on your nerves a little bit more than usual. All of that is by design, by these microorganisms and entities. You could think of it like a network, like an AI network. The only thing is we done forgot the fact that we're telepathic. And we forget the fact that we watch TV and sometimes the TV says the same thing that we're saying in conversation. It's like, damn, I just said that. Or the TV follows right behind, the TV says something right before you say it in the middle of a conversation. You and your friend go to say something at the same time. You watch an Instagram post and then you have your initial reaction of your few words that you immediately thought as soon as you saw that post. And then you click the comments and then you see a whole bunch of people who said the same exact thing that you said. We're actually truly all connected. We are actually all interfacing with each other, and the microorganisms between us are interfacing. This is deep. This is way deeper than what meets the eye of do the 5 steps. Just do the 5 steps. The 5 steps are so simple. I gave them to you all for free. I gave them all to you for free. The 5 steps is not all that it is to it. It is a mental attitude, and it is an overcoming of yourself and your habits and your ways. It is examining yourself. It is being honest with yourself about your own faults and flaws. That's what's really going on. And once you change your mental attitude, then you get relief. Once you go through the sharpening, then you get relief. It's right on the other side of that sharpening that most of you guys just fall through the cracks and straight quit. No one else quits like that. Why is it that the Christians quit so easily? Speak big faith, take small action. God willing, it be easy. All you got to do is trust and believe it will be easy. We got to get stronger. You have to feel your own power within yourself. If you don't feel like you have any power within yourself, if you feel that the only thing that moves and shakes and pushes and pulls and causes things to happen is only God willing, what about the will that God gave you? God gave you will. He gave you your own willpower. You have the will to do and decide what you want to do. That means it's all in your hands. I don't think you guys understand that. It's all in your hands. You continue to pray. Of course, I pray. I pray every day. Every day I pray. But I also know that it takes for me to take action. I'm here in this earthly realm. I have to take action. I have to decide how bad I want it. Earlier today, my husband was having trouble logging into something for work. And so I'm like, let me log in. And I had to keep asking him for something over and over again. He was like, look, don't worry about it. I don't want you to get frustrated. I'm like, nah, I got to see things through. I'm the type of person, when I start things, I got to finish it. I have to start what I finish. I have to keep going no matter what. That's my personality in anything, in everything that I do. I'm going to go all the way, 100%. I will ride it till the wheels fall off if I got to. Okay? I see things all the way through. Do you see things all the way through for yourself? What is your pattern? Okay? But don't you know that you can change that? You can change that. I used to be the type of person in my younger years where I would start a bunch of projects and then didn't complete those projects. I would start crocheting a whole blanket and then stop once the blanket is like this big. Can't see it in the camera, but not big enough where it's not a whole blanket. Just as an example. Okay? I would start and stop. I had a business that I started. I started the LLC and all kinds of stuff. Got the equipment, didn't do it. Didn't sell not one t-shirt. I had a big box of I think I bought 300 t-shirts or something. And didn't even do it. And then I started to follow through. I'm like, you got all these ideas, you good at starting stuff, but now you got to get good at seeing it through no matter what, even if it gets difficult, because you got to learn the lessons along the way. All it's learning experiences. So yeah, that first little t-shirt business, it didn't go well. My little trade show booths, I was only making my booth fee, $25, $50. That was about it. I couldn't even make enough stuff to even sell, to that amount of people at these shows. So by me not being able to do those things, I felt like, well, maybe I should just stop. When following through and continuing no matter what, I was able to take notes and learn some things about myself along the way, and also to learn more things about the process. So that was not my last LLC that I created. I went on to create 3 more LLCs after that, each one being more successful than the previous one, because I continue on no matter what. I don't take failure as failure. I take failure as learning lessons, so that when I jump back in and do it again, I know more and I'm better equipped. I do a better job at it. Even if I don't succeed that time, I know I'm going to actually benefit from me doing this, because I'm learning something about myself and I'm making it better for the next time. If there got to be a next time. I had to learn my lesson with the children, because I had so much fun delivering my children. I had so much fun delivering them. After they would come out, I'm like, okay, next time I want to do it like this. And then I ended up having 5 kids, trying to perfect my experience, making sure the camera was set up, making sure all of this stuff. So, I had to cut it short. After the last one, I said, I'm not saying that this time. Because we barely even made it into the hospital building, much less a bed, to give birth to him. I gave birth to him on my hands and knees in the hallway, getting off the parking garage. So anyways, we're talking about following through to anybody who just came in. Speaks big faith, takes small action. My women of faith, whose faith is not carrying them far enough, okay? Not carrying them far enough for them to continue protocol. They're quitting, they're dropping out, and they're giving up because they entered into darkness. And the reason they entered into darkness is because that's all the stuff coming out of your body. While you are detoxing, it is crying out for help, begging for you to stop doing whatever it is that you're doing. It wants you to stop it. It wants you to stop doing what it is that you are doing. And that's it. And if you keep going, it will leave you alone. But so many of you are falling through because you're sitting there. I think some of you just might be confused between the voice of these microorganisms, your own voice, and God's voice. You need to learn to differentiate between your voice, God's voice, and these negative entities, these microorganisms' voice in your body, in your head. Go look it up. You don't have to take my word for it. You can go do some Google searching and end up on some CDC websites and the medical peer review where they talk about the influence of microorganisms on our thoughts and our actions and our self-confidence. So your thoughts, you contemplate your thoughts consciously. You think about your thoughts. I decided to go live. I decided when I was in the middle of going through something with someone, I decided to write this down. With not even someone, with some people, because when things happen, some people take things personally, but I take it as a sign. I take it as this is what I need to bring my awareness to in love, with love. And I don't want any more of my Christians falling through the cracks and just quitting, okay? Stop quitting. And you got on your profile, God be the, divine God, everything, all over the profile. In your messages, God bless this, that, and the other, God, this, that, all over. But when it comes down to you getting down and doing what you got to do and doing that work, you don't want to do the work. You can't seem to find the power within yourself to do the work. You got to encourage yourself. So let me tell you, I just told you what your voice is in your head. Your voice speaks in the first person. It says I. It says I this. Oh, I got to go to the store. I forgot. Oh, I got to do this. I feel great today. Okay? That's I. All right? Now, the virus's thoughts, first of all, are negative. The virus is negative. It comes in sort of like an afterthought sometimes. If you're in the middle, if you're having interactions with people, it comes in as an afterthought with something negative to say, unsolicited. Not nothing that you were necessarily thinking at all, but it will start to bring up stuff. Well, did you notice how she looked at when you had said such and such? That's the virus. That's microorganisms. With that messy ass voice, that's like, did you? Parasites, yes. Did you? And the parasites, the microorganisms, because we're talking about HSV, we're talking about those parasites, we're talking about overgrowth in fungus, okay? We're talking about overgrowth in bacteria. All of that, all of those microorganisms are speaking to you. And I know you know, because you're out here healing people too. All of that stuff is speaking to you. Now, when you're sitting there in beta, you just chilling, you just doing what you're doing, and that little negative thought pops up and it says, you should kill yourself. Now, that's an extreme of it. And it says that to you for people who's going through those depressions and stuff. That hit my heart. When people who's going through these immense, painful depressions, and you got something telling you something like that, you need to detox to get that up out of you. Because that is a spiritual manifestation. These microorganisms are not just physical. They are spiritual manifestations that have become physical by you aligning yourself with that, by you weakening your spirit, by you bringing down your vibration, by you bringing down your own energetic vibration. So I don't know the exact numbers on the frequencies, but let's say, just draw a line, just make a chart like that. Y'all can see that. And then let's just say, I'm just going to not try to draw an actual person, but we're going to draw a person here. And I'm going to show you how this thing here works. So this is my little outline of a person. It looks crazy, but it's okay. So this is the high frequency. This is a low frequency. So as you, depending on how you're feeling, you're going to operate from these different energy centers. You got like these, your chakras in your body, which I do not want to get these wrong. But if I get them wrong, so be it. All right, so we just gone. That's general. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the general areas, I believe, of the chakras. I think this is a little higher up because it's the crown, your head. I think it's your mouth. I don't know. Whatever. We're gonna go like that because it don't have to be exact. So this is high frequency. This is the lowest frequency. Now, when you're on a low frequency, you might be vibrating this right here very, very low. When you're vibrating low like this, that means that you're having more thoughts that are hitting this area right here, your root chakra. Okay, so right here in your, she said, "Damn, you draw quick." your root chakra, right there. So if you're thinking in this area right there, you're thinking really, really low thoughts right there. You may be thinking more along the lines of sexual thoughts, having issues with sexual thoughts, whether it's sexual shame, insecurities, psychosomatics. You're having psychosomatic symptoms that's causing you to have outbreaks. All right. You're having outbreaks and stuff. You're having all kinds of issues because you're on this low frequency. All right. Now, for some people, depending on where they are, smoking weed might raise their frequency. Smoking weed might bring them up some if their frequency is low. Let's say that this right here is 300. I'm just going to make that up. Say that's 300. And then right here is the frequency of smoking weed, which is 400. So then that brings that person up some. All right. So then now they're in maybe, let's say the sacral area. So you're around your sacral chakra, your stomach, like your gut feelings. Okay. Your gut feelings. So now your gut feelings is being tampered with. All right. You're not feeling good emotionally and energetically. You're having a lot of stomach issues. You're having issues in this area, the area where you would tend to get like butterflies in your gut. You're having issues there. You're having issues with self-confidence coming from right here. And yes, sex addiction, you're dealing with these things if you're in this area. Now, let's say if you're up here, let's say you're up here, you're in the 800s. All right, you're an 800 person. So that means that you're not really having issues with like, over sexualization. You're not really having issues with like how you view your sexuality. Even down here, if you're down here in this area in that low of a frequency, that means that also you care more about your external appearance than your inside. You want to fix yourself, fix your problems by fixing your appearance on the outside. So that could be dressing, trying to dress up your problems, dressing a certain way, lots of hair and makeup possibly. It could also be your house and everything looks very, very beautiful on the outside, and the inside your house is kind of a mess. Your family dynamics might be a mess, but on the outside looking in, things are looking good. Kind of like a pastor's kid type of thing, where the pastor's, everybody looks good, nice and shiny, but on the inside, his children are a hot mess. Things going on. You know what I'm saying? So that's when you're operating out of that low frequency. All right. And let's say somebody who's up here at this 800 level where they're really operating from their heart. They're operating from the place of love. And then they go and smoke weed, which is a 400, and it lowers them down to this. So then you start having, that's why some people get paranoia when they smoke weed and they feel like crap and they feel terrible. It's because they're vibrating higher than that. They vibrate higher, and that weed is bringing them down, and they don't need to be brought down. So it's not good for them to do that. Okay. So if you're on this low frequency, you're dealing with, STDs, you're dealing with, viruses that could be passed sexually, and you're having issues with sex addiction, or you're having issues with, insecurities, being, abused, and the abuse from your past really manifesting itself in this area. So that's when also fibroids, people who are dealing with fibroids, cysts, all this stuff right here, below the belt stuff, reproductive issues, that's a manifestation. Okay? That's a physical manifestation of a spiritual problem. So once you start detoxing, all of these microorganisms that's affecting you and causing these issues up here in your head, because it don't just cause issues there, it causes issues all the way up the ladder. All the way up the ladder, issues are being caused. All right? So if you're having problems and you're in this low frequency, that means that you're also having problems right here with your gut feeling. Your gut feeling isn't operating correctly. You're not using your gut feeling properly. You're not paying attention to your gut feeling. You're confused and you're not making very good decisions. All right. Then your heart. You need to work on opening your heart. Your heart is closed off. Okay. Your heart is sitting here shut off. You're not having compassion for yourself or others. And the reason why people are not being compassionate with you is because you don't have no compassion for yourself. That's where that initially is stemming from. Okay. So then moving up the ladder, you also have a problem with your throat chakra. You're not releasing your voice. You're not speaking up when you're supposed to speak up. When you speak, you're talking out of turn. You're having issues with when to speak, when not to speak, what to say, how to show up for yourself, how to defend yourself. Okay? All of that. Or when you don't need to defend yourself. And you just need to understand that the other person is going through something and they just might need to be met with love. But your heart chakra is not big enough. It's closed. It's small. Then it's affecting your head. It's affecting your thoughts. You don't know if you're coming or going. You are actually you're accepting thoughts that are not your own. You're accepting those thoughts that say, you should do this. You should do that. And it's like, why? I don't talk like that. I don't tell myself, well, you should do that and you should do this. I say, I should do this. I should do that. So anything that pops up in your head saying you should, that's not you. That's not you. That's those microorganisms talking. And then it's affecting right here, your crown chakra, right here up the top, your Godhead. This right here is being affected too. That's being affected too, because now it's affecting your intuition for real. It's affecting your connection with source. It's affecting your connection with God. It's affecting your connection with your higher self. So you could be a spiritual person and you were born with these spiritual gifts, right? But then in the midst of it, you had a low point in your life. And then you got with someone who was able to transmit something to you only because you were so low. Now, even if you were higher up, even if you didn't hit no low point in your life and you were still good, like you was all good, and then you ended up just getting with somebody who was low, you wouldn't even catch the virus. You wouldn't catch it because you would vibrate so high that the virus could not latch onto you. Because you can sleep with someone and not even get HSV from them if they have it. If your spirit vibrates high. You know how I know? Because I interview so many people. I interview so many couples. I interview so many married couples. People who's been in long-term relationships for years. Okay? It is your spirit that has weakened you to that point, and that's the only way that it was able to latch on to you. So the way that you get rid of it is to vibrate higher. You have to vibrate higher. That means that you're going to have to fight through some things. And you're going to have strong faith. That means that you're going to have to walk it and not just talk it. You're going to have to walk it and not just talk it. You cannot be the verbal tipper. Okay? You cannot be the verbal tipper. Speaks big faith, takes small action. God willing, it be easy. All you got to do is trust and believe that it will be easy for me just because I'm God's child. So it should be easy for me. Everybody is God's children. Everybody is God's children. Who else will we belong to? Where else would we belong if we were not God's children? We are all God's children. So, and all of us have the equal opportunity to do well or not, to keep going or give up. And I want to encourage you to keep going. If you prayed and then you found me after you prayed, that means we are in alignment. And that means that this is something that you should be doing. If you got on a fast and then you found me, that means we are in alignment. That means this is something that you should do. But you're going to have to relinquish that part of yourself that self-sabotages. Because it ain't you. It's the microorganisms telling you, she's making it too hard. This is too hard. Why can't this just be easier? Why can't I just get what I want when I want it? Because we all got to do the work. We all got to do the work. And it's not hard. All it takes is persistence. All it takes is to keep going. All it takes is to open your mouth. A closed mouth don't get fed. It takes reaching out, not reaching down. Because a lot of you are reaching down to people who can't help you. They're in the same situation as you. Or they're in a worse situation as you. Or they don't know as much as you because you were the one who found information on how to help your health situation. You're the one who found the information. So why are you asking for the opinions of people who ain't doing nothing? Who are not looking for this information? They are on the shade room. They don't even have some of this mixed up in their shade room stuff. They are just straight shade room. So we need to reach up. We need to reach up to those of us who have already walked this path, that already know the ropes, that can help you with the ins and outs. And it don't have to be me. There's other people. But there's so many of you who are leaning to your own misunderstanding. Your own misunderstanding. And that's the only thing that's standing between you and where it is that you're supposed to be. That's it. There's nothing else standing in your way. You just have to relinquish that self-sabotaging spirit. And that's it. That's all you got to do. Relinquish that self-sabotage and keep going. You think I wasn't embarrassed last year with some of the mistakes and things that I did publicly and said publicly on this here live stream? You think I didn't didn't feel embarrassment or shame in some of the ways that I acted and responded? You think I didn't work on myself to try to make those things, to see what inside of myself made me respond that way, made me act that way, made me check my own self, look at my own ego, examine it, discover that it is an ego, and then decide to release it? It's a lot. And I continue to show up through my own embarrassment, through my own working on myself, consistently, never giving up on working on myself, because I know that I can become the person that I'm destined to be. But I know it's going to take a lot of work, and I'm not going to ever stop working, and I'm not going to ever give up on y'all either. Just like I will never give up on me, I'm not going to ever give up on y'all. So I will save this live, okay? And I'm going to repost it on YouTube as well. So I want y'all to take this word and this message with you throughout the day. And I want you to hold that, and empower yourself. What you got to do to build up your power. What you got to do. What is it going to take for you to build up your own self-power and not lean to everybody that's got all this stuff going on. We got to lean into ourselves. So y'all have a great night, great day. Bye, y'all.